You're listening to the Secure Dad Podcast. Discover ways to secure your home, protect your family, and embrace your role as a protector parent. Welcome, friend. I'm Andy Murphy, the creator of The Secure Dad. This podcast serves to help families become proactive in their safety. The information I share on this podcast is for general information purposes only. My goal is to empower you to make safer decisions for yourself and your family, because our safety is our own responsibility. Today on the show, I'm going to be answering a few questions that I've gotten about security measures for rental properties and apartments. But no matter where you live, these tips will be useful for your safety. Plus, I'm going to talk about a few home security systems that you might want to consider no matter where you live. All of that and more ahead on the Secure Dad Podcast. When I choose a company to help my family, no matter if it's a doctor, financial planner, or a contractor, I look for one that's been around for a while. One that has experience. That's one of the reasons I chose to partner with Delete Me for my family's privacy and as a sponsor for this show. Delete Me has been in the game for more than 10 years. They have been, and still are, a pioneer in removing personally identifiable information from data broker sites, and that's their focus. Many other good-intentioned companies will try to offer you a suite of services, but they come up short. Delete Me knows how to keep strangers from buying your information, and they do it well. If you want to get your personal information removed from search sites, go to joindeleteme.com/dad. They're offering 20% off their privacy plans to everyone listening with the code DAD. When you join Delete Me, they partner with you to find your information across the internet and delete it for you. It's not only peace of mind, it's a relationship you can trust. See why I find Delete Me essential to my privacy at joindeleteme.com/dad and use promo code DAD to get 20% off today. Also, check out the podcast for kids that I started with my son. On all of the major podcast platforms, you can download Farmer Brown's Dinosaur Farm. This is a silly podcast for kids that follows a farmer who raises dinosaurs and all the mischief that they get into. You can follow the show on Facebook when you search for Farmer Brown's Dinosaur Farm. I remember moving into my first apartment. I was trying to get everything set up, and I wanted to make sure that everything was in the right place, and also I wanted to make sure that I didn't violate my rental agreement. And part of my hesitation in living in this first apartment was I didn't quite know what I could do to upgrade the security of my place. So I kind of felt like I was in this ambiguous area where I wanted to do more, but I didn't know what I should do, and a lot of times I just kicked that can down the road and really didn't take care of myself like I was supposed to. Just because you are renting your living space does not mean you have to feel unsafe in your home. Many people who live in apartments, duplexes, rental homes, they feel like they can't make secure upgrades to their space because of that rental agreement. While agreements may be very restrictive, you do have the right to protect yourself, your family, and your personal property. Of course, when preparing to upgrade your home security for a rental space, make sure you're aware of your contract and what is and is not allowed. It's up to you, the renter, to make sure that you're not violating your agreement. Also, it never hurts to ask what's acceptable, and sometimes it is better to ask for forgiveness than permission. So it's a balance. You make the call. I'll address the most common question that I get about security for renters, and that is, what is the best home security system for an apartment? I have never endorsed one alarm company. I think that each person's home and family situation is unique and people should choose the best for them. In a moment, I'll share my thoughts on that, but for now, let's take a look at a few details about, home alarm systems. Over the years, home security systems have gotten easier to install. Today's alarm system is very DIY friendly. I have said for a long time that if you can use double-sided tape and add a device to your Wi-Fi, then you are qualified to install a home security system. When looking at a new alarm system for your apartment, there's a few details that you're going to want to keep in mind. And first is your budget. Don't overbuy a fancy system if your bottom line isn't going to cover it. You can begin with a small starter kit and then add on as you need. And don't lock yourself into a contract over an apartment that you may leave soon. Also, you need to consider your monthly monitoring fee. That's right, if you're going to get an alarm system for your space, then you need to put up the money for monitoring. Don't just buy the hardware. You need the company backing you up and watching out for your home when you're not there. With those things in mind, let's talk about two systems to consider for your rental property. Simply Safe, and Ring Home Alarm. Now, in short, both of these systems are great. For real, these are not going to lead you wrong. They both have great reputations and will do the job. So if you get either of these, you're going to be doing great. I'm sorry if you were expecting some Wild West showdown here with a detailed breakdown of which system is better. Honestly, they're both great and they're going to do a good job for you. Both of these are sold on Amazon, so you can get the base alarm package and then get add-ons like door sensors, cameras, and glass break sensors. Plus, they don't require contracts, which is very important. When you're looking at a base package for any DIY wireless alarm system, you want to make sure that you have enough sensors to cover all the entry points of your apartment. So if that is a front door, make sure you have one for that, your sliding glass door, and then any windows that are really going to be accessible. Now, if you're on the third floor, you could not worry about putting sensors on all of your windows, but if you were on the first floor, you absolutely need a sensor for every window. So those are the kind of things that you're going to need to keep in mind. Each of these comes with a base station and a keypad that's going to be able to arm and disarm the system for you. The base station also acts as the alarm, so make sure you put that in a central place in your apartment so that you'll be able to hear it if in the event it goes off. Of course, Simply Safe and Ring have phenomenal smartphone apps that will help you arm and disarm the system. If you have cameras attached to these systems, you can also see what's going on there. An important element for me with any home alarm system is cellular backup. This is when the internet goes out and there's basically a little mobile phone inside that base station that's going to call the monitoring center in the event that your internet is out, so you'll know that it's going to work for you pretty much all the time. I'm a firm believer that I want my alarm system to work even if the internet goes out. Both Simply Safe and Ring offer this feature, but with Ring you do need to subscribe to like Ring Protect Pro to have that activated, so just be aware. Both systems are great. Just find the one that works for you and your budget. If you're interested in starting with either of these systems, I have links for them in today's show notes. So now let's talk about some fortifications that you can make to your rental space. Burglars will have to physically strike your apartment in order to get your stuff, so we have to take physical steps to prevent this. We need to meet them where they are. The first thing that you need to do is protect your front door. When you move in, or if you've moved in and lived there for a while, you need to follow up on this. You need to ask management if they replace the locks after old tenants move out. If they don't, then that means that somebody may have a spare key to your apartment, and that's not good. So you need to request that they replace the locks if they haven't been. Even if there's like a small fee associated with that, pay it. Next, let's fortify your front door. Those night and slide locks that you get at Walmart are not going to stop somebody from kicking down your door. Those are held in by these tiny little screws that will pop out when somebody applies even a medium amount of force. I suggest you replace the strike plate screws in your door frame with at least 2-inch wood screws. This will strengthen your lock set, and most likely your landlord won't even care or notice this change. Of course, you can take your door fortification to the next level with Flip Lock. This is an all-metal secondary lock that activates in less than a second and can withstand up to 1,300 pounds of pressure. And it comes with 3-inch screws that mount into the stud behind your door frame, so you're good to go. Now, if you're worried about the holes in the door frame, when you move out, just fill those holes with wood filler and you should be good to go. The last thing I'll mention about doors for apartments is how to fortify a sliding glass door. Personally, I hate these, but they seem to be a staple in apartments and I've had my fair share of them. The cheapest thing to do is buy a 1-inch thick dowel rod from a home improvement store and place that in the track of the sliding glass door. Now, this should be like 2 or 3 feet long. If you can get one that's longer, that's great. If you can cut one to size, that's perfect. Now, when you lay this dowel rod down in the track, it's going to prevent the door from opening all the way from the inside and the outside. And this is also a good way to keep small children from opening the door and wandering out. So that dowel rod is just going to keep that door from opening. Now, as I wrap up, I don't want to underestimate the importance of lighting your apartment for security. By using smart bulbs, you can use the existing fixtures in your place to control the lighting to make it look like you're home when you're actually not. With these, you can control when they turn on and off, the frequency that the lights are on, and of course the brightness. Plus, you can actually control the color of the bulbs, which I think is an added bonus. but these can help create the appearance that somebody is inside your apartment so that burglars will be less likely to target your place. If you'd like to know more about securing your rental space, I've written an in-depth article about much more than I have discussed here. I go as far as to talk about the parking lot, community awareness, and even wireless cameras that you can put up. To read all of my thoughts on this, you can tap the link in the show notes. Well, that's everything that I have for the show today. Thank you, friend, for listening. Take control of your personal, private data with Delete Me. Get 20% off a privacy plan when you apply the code DAD at checkout. If you want your kids to have a smartphone, but not access to the entire internet or social media, then consider a phone from TrueMe Wireless. Use code SecureDad at checkout for $50 off a phone of your choice. For more from the Secure Dad, go ahead and follow me on YouTube. I'm working on some exciting things over there. I'm Andy Murphy, reminding you that our safety is our own responsibility.